and thank you all for attending today. I'm very excited and happy to share this work. I'm going to talk about omnichannel fulfillment strategies and sales credit allocation. Of course, this is a joint work with Professor George Zakur. I'm sure that maybe some of you haven't heard about omnichannel retailing or omnichannel fulfillment strategies, but I'm sure if you love shopping as much as I do, there's a good chance that you have a related shopping experience in omnichannel retailing. So to give you a simple introduction, omnichannel retailing is all about providing multiple fulfillment choices for the customer. So let me start with an example. Now consider here this customer needs to buy a pair of hiking shoes. Now this customer is aware of his choices. He is living in the city and he knows that this retailer has a store located in this city. And also he knows that he can always order online and get the order delivered to his address. So suppose this customer, one of the choices of this customer is in-store shopping. Now, if the customer is living close to the store, or just this customer love the in-store shopping experience, or he needs to really try these shoes and try them, see the material, feels the product before purchase, this customer will choose to shop in store. But what happens if the store doesn't have this customer's size or preferred color, and it's already sold out? So in this case, with omnichannel retailing, the customer is giving the choice to, if this customer is willing to wait a couple of days, the sales associate can get the product delivered to store in a couple of days, and this customer can revisit the store in a couple of days after getting confirmation and pick the product in the store free of charge, of course. So this fulfillment it is called ship to store, meaning that this product will be shipped from the distribution center warehouse to the store, and customer will pay nothing for it. The only thing that is different for this customer now is that he's going to wait a couple of days, and maybe some would not accept it and will not switch from in-store to SDS shopping. Now this customer may live a little bit far from the store, or he just doesn't want to bear the cost of commute, or maybe he just like to shop from the comfort of his couch, and it doesn't mind the delivery fees. So he knows that he can order online and get the product delivered to his address. This is another fulfillment option, named direct shipping. So this is one of the fulfillment strategies that has been around for generations, and this only includes shipping from the distribution center to the customer's address. Now, what happens if now the distribution center is sold out? In this case, the omnichannel retailer sorry for the interruption. Now, if distribution center is stuck out, then this customer has the option. It doesn't actually, there's no difference for this customer, but the retailer, what can the retailer do is to ask the distribution center, to the store, to deliver customer's preferred item to his address. Now here, without even, the customer without even noticing actually is getting its order fulfilled by ship from store fulfillment strategy. And now this fulfillment strategy actually was very popular during the last couple of years due to the COVID restrictions. Many of the foot traffic in many of the brick and mortar stores was down by 30%. So several retailers converted their brick and mortar store to actually a pickup location or a mini distribution center or retail center. So actually, many analysts believe that COVID restrictions and the pandemic forced the retailers to embrace the omnichannel strategies even faster than expected. Now,
Hi, Mahsa. I have a question.
Sure.
Here, you have assumed that the warehouse, there is no warehouse. It's just one store where you are, from where you are getting your product. I mean,
no,
if I'm sitting at home, I would rather believe that the product would be shipped from the warehouse rather than from the store. No.
No. You even don't notice that where the product is coming from. The retailer is doing this. If distribution center is stuck out, the retailer asks the store to deliver the product to the customer's address. You don't notice from which destination it's coming.
Okay. And it's like how quick is it? I mean, in general, like.
Actually, that's a great point. I was going to mention it later, but ship from store, one of the benefits of ship from store is actually provide the retailer to be competitive with the e-commerce giants such as Amazon, because they are providing 1 or 2 day delivery. Now, if the store is even in the close proximity to the customer, they can deliver it even faster from the distribution center, because most of the time distribution centers are a little bit far from the center of the city, or when the population density is higher.
Thanks.
So, no problem. But of course, the delivery fee would be different. It would be different because especially for emerging omnichannel retailers, they don't have the structure or the infrastructure of the last mile delivery, so they're most of the time using the other companies to do that, and it might even cost them higher than delivering online from the distribution center. So here you can see a list of fulfillment strategies that these strategies we are going to consider in this study. But the important thing here to notice is that with fulfillment strategies, no matter where the demand is generated, demand is going to be fulfilled in any channel. What do I mean is that with ship from store, the demand may be created in online platform, in online channel, but fulfilled from the store's inventory, or in the shipped or vice versa, in ship to store, the demand can be created in store, but fulfilled from the distribution center's inventory. So this provides their customers a seamless shopping experience across different channels. Now, why is it important for retailers to adopt omnichannel fulfillment strategy? Not only they boost sales across channels, there are other benefits such as faster delivery, as I mentioned, with shop from store in close proximity of customers. They can deliver it faster and has a competition advantage opposed to the fast delivering giant e-commerce companies such as Amazon. Lower holding costs and higher chance of in-stock availability, and these and many others are benefits of omnichannel retailing, which all of them leads to, of course, a higher customer satisfaction. Now, if we look at the statistics, many retailers are, many well-known and giant retailers have already adopted omnichannel fulfillment strategies, or they are planning to do so in the near future. And last year, there was a dramatic change in the utilization of these fulfillment strategies because of the COVID restrictions, in which, according to retaildive.com, the number of orders, number of in-store pickups grew more than 100 last year, and shipping from stores grew by 80%. So this actually forced the traditional retailers, meaning not only the ones that has a brick-and-mortar store, to have an online channel and have these fulfillment options, and also the e-commerce only retailers to have some locations, brick-and-mortar locations or showrooms, in order to be able to compete in this market. And the proportion of online sales supported by a physical store, I mean the ship from store fulfillment strategy, was almost grew 5% in 2019. Which all of these indicate that in order to stay competitive, retailers need to adopt correctly the omnichannel fulfillment strategies. Now, the main question that we are going to investigate in this research is who should get the credit, because in the past, sales credit allocation was very easy, because online shoppers was only shopping online and in-store shoppers was only shopping in store. And when they were going to evaluate the performance of each department, it was much more easier, because nowadays with fulfillment strategies, not only these two channels has a significant impact on boosting sales in each other's channel, but also they significantly increase the profit margins. And the question is really, the answer to this question is getting really tricky, because when suppose this customer is ordering online, but distribution center is stuck out. So the distribution center is creating demand and processing the order, but the store is going to fulfill the order, meaning that the store is going to pay for the picking, packing, and shipping costs. So in this case, since both of these channels are actually bearing a cost in order to fulfill this order, who is going to get the credit for this sale? This is the same story for ship to store. With ship to store, the store is stuck out. So here the demand is created in the store. The sales associated, the sales force has the cost for store, and also store is going to process the order. But on the other hand, the distribution center is going to pay for fulfilling the order and packing and shipping. Now, in order to answer, so let me. So when we check what's going on in practice, we see that there are still many retailers that haven't solved this critical puzzle of omnichannel fulfillment strategies, meaning that according to eMarketer.com, only 16% of retailers allocate profit from omnichannel fulfillment strategies between channels, meaning that only 31% are allocating full credit to online channel, and 21% is allocating the full credit to the store. So, and according to a survey by BRP, many retailers, meaning more than 50%, even do not pay store employees any incentives for fulfilling omnichannel orders. Now, in practice, the situation is that most of the companies are giving annual performance-based bonuses to different departments, meaning e-commerce or store. So if, let's consider a store associate or a managing team for store. So if this store associate is going to spend time assisting customers, picking, packing, and doing the delivery and etc. So if this customer is not going to get any incentive or any bonus for this much work that they're going to do, then of course for future decisions, there will be a change in the future decisions, meaning that if a customer is, if a customer's preferred item is out of stock in the market, in the store, then instead of assisting this customer in ship to store fulfillment strategy, the store associate is just simply recommend another maybe cheaper, a bit lower margin product to the customer, and in a sense sabotaging online or STS orders. Now, when we check the reports and searching what is suggested or what is actually implemented in the industry with respect to credit allocation, there are some suggestions, meaning that retailers can share credit for the sale equally across channels, no matter what is the it is shipped from a store or shipped to a store. The credit is going to allocate equally. And or if, for example, in ship from a store, if a store is going to pay for picking, packing, and delivery, it's better to just compensate for the cost of this labor work. This is another option in the practice. Or there is a geographical compensation model, which when an online order is fulfilled, is getting fulfilled, then the store which is in the close proximity of that customer's delivery address will get a commission for that online order. And the last one that seems somehow not easy to implement is hiring totally separate employees to handle omnichannel fulfillments. Please interrupt me anywhere if you have any questions. So as I mentioned before, if suppose these two channels are managed by two different teams, by two different management teams. So if there is, if the sales credit allocation is not done properly, then there's a risk of tension between these two managing teams, which would lead to one channel sabotaging another channel's sales, or simply under ordering, which means that if the store's manager order 100 products in the selling season and he use 30 items to fulfill online orders and get nothing, no credit for this work, then in the next selling season, maybe this manager would under order in order to even not having inventory to fulfill online orders. So in this study, we are going to find out how we can find a proper sales credit allocation in order to actually prevent this tension and in somehow align these two managers' goals for increasing the profit of the retailer. And of course, these fulfillment strategies have many benefits, as I mentioned before, but if we showed that if the sales credit allocation is sales credit is not allocated properly between channels, then this seemingly beneficial fulfillment strategy may undermine the profit of the retailer. So therefore, we have these research questions, which is, the first one is, when an order is fulfilled through omnichannel strategy, which channel should get credit for that sale? So we are looking for this, the answer for this question in ship to store fulfillment strategy, ship from store fulfillment strategy. And also, what is a fair sales credit allocation policy across channel? So are the various credit allocation policies implemented in the practice part of an optimal policy of a profit maximizing omnichannel firm? And what is the impact of sales credit allocation policy on the profit, retailer's profit? So in order to answer these questions, we are going to consider an inventory game between the online channel and the store. So we are going to, we suppose that these two channels are managing with two independent managers, and in the selling season, in the beginning of the selling season, each of these managers are going to decide the order quantity, and they're going to sell this single product to a market which is made up of two types of customers. Now, the orange ones are the customers who always prefer direct shipping. They just love to buy online, don't mind the delivery fees, and just like the comfort of shopping online, or they simply live far from the store, or they just want to avoid getting COVID during the pandemic. This might be another reason. The other type of the customer is a store visit customer, and as I mentioned before, they always prefer to go to a store to feel the material of the product, to see it, and to maybe simply being able to easily return the product if they don't like it. So the market is made up of these two customers, and each store and the, let's say, distribution center is going to order a quantity in the selling season, and they're going to sell the single product to this market. And this is an inventory game. Why? Because with fulfillment strategies, each channel's order quantity is not only going to affect its own profit, but it's also going to affect the other channel's profit. Now, this study is actually related to a couple of, three streams of research in the, and the main stream of research is omnichannel retailing, of course. So when we look at this stream of research, we find three types of studies: the comprehensive reviews, very good comprehensive reviews, the empirical studies, which most of these empirical studies are analyzing the effect of implementing different omnichannel fulfillment strategies, such as in-store pickup, ship to store, or ship from store, showrooms. When showrooms where in the store you keep no inventory, and the showroom is just used to give the customer the sense of in-store shopping, and also impact of opening physical stores and ship from store. And this is the study. They look at an e-commerce only retailer who needs to adopt physical stores and use ship from store. There are also very good analytical studies in the trio paper by Gao and Su. They analytically study the impact of implementing BOPS, which is buy online, pick up in store, on customers' channel choice. Also, there's a study regarding pooling and depulling effect of in-store pickups. There's a study by Ertekin et al. They study the hybrid products in ship to store, online. There's a couple of studies, they consider a network of stores. Now here in this study, we only consider one store and one distribution channel. But if you have a network of stores in a city, then Jalalipur Ali Shah et al. Study when to ship or when to fulfill an online order from which store. They also study their replenishment policies under ship from store and also dynamic ship from store fulfillment in a network of stores. So the important thing here is that with inventory in omnichannel retailing, most of these studies consider only a centralized model, and they even with optimal inventory, optimal order quantities, they only consider this decision in a centralized format when this brand or firm owns and manages all these different channels. This is also related to the inventory transshipment. Why? Because with omnichannel retailing, the feature that each channel can fulfill other channel demand is analogous actually to the lateral transshipment, inventory transshipment. So there are most of the studies, they consider two symmetric retailers with symmetric demand, symmetric cost, symmetric information, and there are studies considering dual channel retailer. They mostly investigate if they can find a coordinating contract for these channels, and a number of other studies. The other stream of literature that consider that is related to our study is sales force compensations. Now, this is mostly related to marketing. They rarely concern about inventory. They're mostly considering how much budget to allocate to each touch point in the customer journey. So let me move to the setup and assumption. Now here, this manufacturer, brand or firm, as you will, can hold inventory in store and in a distribution center. Now these two have independent managers, and these managers are deciding the order quantity in the selling season, and they are selling this market a single product at price P. Now, the total number of potential customers in the market, or the market size, is a uniformly distributed random variable between 0 and m. So since here phi is denoting the fraction of store visiting customers, and 1 minus 5, this is a number between 0 and 1, and 1 minus 5 is the fraction of direct shipping customer, and therefore the in-store demand, we show it by ds, is also a uniformly distributed random variable between 0 and phi m, and direct shipping demand denoted by do is a uniformly distributed random variable between 0 and 1 minus phi m. First, we start with a benchmark scenario. In this benchmark scenario, we don't have any omnichannel fulfillment strategies. It's a traditional dual channel retailer. So of course, obviously, this is not a game because online shoppers only shop online and in-store shoppers only order in a store. So the expected profit of the store is denoted by pi b for benchmark, dbs, pi bs, and it consists of the profit of in-store sales minus the cost for the leftover inventory. In ETA is the cost that store bears for per leftover inventory. And the expected profit of the distribution center is denoted by pi BO is the profit from selling and shipping directly to the direct shipping customers. Here CO is the delivery cost or fulfilling a direct shipping order, and W is a wholesale cost that this distribution center pays per item to get it from the manufacturer. Now here, CS it includes both the wholesale price and the store operating cost. So since the store pays this cost at the beginning of the selling season before any sales happen, we consider it the minus CSQS, but here the distribution center pay W for each item, store, hold it in the inventory, and for each direct shipping, they pay CO to fulfill the order. So with first order condition, we get the optimal order quantities for each channel, and by substituting in the profit functions, we can get the profits for each channel. Any questions?
Yeah, I will have a question, Mahsa.
Sure.
Who set the retail price in the model?
Retail price is fixed, manufacturer. It's fixed. It's
okay.
Exogenous.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Now let's see what happens in the ship to store fulfillment. Now here again, these two channels are selling to in-store and direct shipping customers. Let's consider first the store profit, expected profit of the store. Now here, the profit is, this profit of in-store sales minus the inventory cost. So this is going on until the store is stuck up. So in this case, what is going to happen is that the store is going to ask distribution center to deliver the requested items to the store in order to fulfill the customers. Now, the expected number of orders that is going to be fulfilled from the distribution center is denoted by capital T. T is for shipping to a store. Now, one point that I need to mention here is that not all customers will agree to fulfilled by ship to a store, because maybe some of them need this product immediately and they can't wait for a couple of days. Therefore, we use alpha, and which denote the fraction of the store demand switch to ship to a store. Now the expected number of orders will be the minimum of leftover inventory in the DC, and alpha multiplied by the leftover, the excess demand in the store. So the minimum of these two would give us the expected number of orders by ship to store. And the expected profit of the distribution center, which we're going to denote by pi TO, T for ship to store, is again the profit of fulfilling on direct shipping orders, and the profit of online store fulfilling the ship to store demand. Here, KT is actually playing the role of sales credit allocation role. Why? Because here the store is going to sell this product at price P to the customer and is going to get P minus KT for each SDS sale. And here the distribution center is going to pay CT to ship the items from distribution center to the store, and is going to get KT minus CT for each order that is fulfilled by ship to store. And now we have the profit functions, and we wrote down the reaction functions. And the first thing that we notice is that we find strategic substitution between the two players, means that one manager's order quantity is decreasing in another manager's order quantity. And here we find the try to find the Nash equilibrium order quantities. So these profit functions are concave pi TS is concave with respect to QS, and pi TO is concave with respect to QO, which will help us to prove the existence of this Nash equilibrium. And for uniqueness, we we checked if the reaction functions are monotone and the slope is smaller than 1, so we can prove the uniqueness of the Nash equilibrium quantities. On the other hand, in order to find these Nash equilibrium order quantities, we need to solve a system of quadratic response functions, which leads to we need to find the roots of a fourth degree polynomial. The expressions, they are very long, so we didn't put in this slides, but we find that a unique ship-to-store Nash equilibrium exists under this condition, this restriction in the parameters. This conditions implies that this Nash equilibrium exists only if the profit margin of retailer from profit of the retailer from fulfilling direct shipping orders is greater than fulfilling the SDS orders, meaning that it's not always profitable for the distribution center to fulfill SDS orders. Any questions? Now, we consider two special cases here. Now here you see with ship-to-store fulfillment strategy, the demand origin is the store, the demand fulfiller is distribution center. So in this case, if the brand or firm or manufacturer gives full credit to the demand fulfiller, meaning the distribution center, then the store is going to order equal to the benchmark model. But if the credit KT or the sales credit allocation is a number between CT and P, then the store is always going to order smaller than the benchmark model. But on the other hand, the distribution center is always going to order higher than benchmark model. But if with ship to store, the retailer gives full credit to the demand origin, means store, then the online channel is going to order the lower bound of the national equilibrium order quantities, meaning that it's equal to the benchmark model. Now here we compare the national equilibrium order quantities under different values of phi meaning that phi is the fraction of store visiting customers. So if phi is a small number, means that this market is dominated by direct shipping customers. Most of them shop online. So with different values of phi, we can see that the stores national equilibrium order quantity is raising with the sales credited allocation rate, but distribution centers order quantity does not affect it as much as the PM stores order quantity. Next, we consider if we can find a fair credit allocation policy with negotiation. Now we consider the possibility of negotiation between Instore and distribution center. So in this case, we're going to use the Nash bargaining solution, meaning that to the determination of equilibrium quantities and sales credit allocation involves the following two steps. In the first step, the operational, which is operational stage, the store and distribution center, having in mind that there are going to be a negotiation, they decide their order quantities, and later for any rule, credit allocation rule that is going to happen, they decide order quantities, and in the credit allocation stage, the manufacturer is going to use this, the product of two players' incremental profits with respect to the status quo in order to, actually the manufacturer is using Nash bargaining solution in order to find this fair allocation rule. Now here the status quo, we consider the benchmark model when there's no fulfillment strategies and what's going to happen if there's no agreement. And the result is that we show that there exists a unique Nash bargaining solution credit rule, but it's only exists under some parameter restrictions, which is, as you can see here, this figure is showing the area where this Nash bargaining solution exists as a function of phi, the fraction of store visiting customers, and the ship to store fulfilling cost. Now, as you can see, this Nash bargaining solution for ship to store fulfillment strategy only exists where it does not exist if the market is mostly dominated by online or direct shipping customers. Any questions? Now here, expected profit for, we compared the expected profit for, again, various fractions of store visiting customers. And let me go to the model because I'm going to use all of these to get the insight, the managerial insights. So here you can see the ship from store fulfillment strategy. Now again here, let me show the expected profits. If the distribution center is stuck out, then the store is going to ship the expected number of TF to the customers, and the store is going to pay CF for each unit of ship SFS orders. Now, in this case, now here, since the customer does not even notice if its order is shipped from store or the distribution center, so there's no difference for the customer, and therefore the expected number of orders fulfilled by SS is the minimum of excess demand in distribution center and excess inventory in the store. And following the same steps here, the profit share, the store's profit share is P minus KF for each SFS fulfillment or fulfilling SFS orders. KF again here is the excess granted allocation rule, which is a value between CF and P. Why? Because in order to keep the store willing to participate in shipping from store. And another benefit of ship from store here, you can see that the inventory cost is, the holding cost is much less than without ship from store. So following the same steps, we get the again, we notice a strategic substitution between the players, and we show that this SFS-Nash equilibrium exists when, from the perspective of the distribution center, if the profit, marginal profit of fulfilling online orders is greater than fulfilling with SFS, and on the other hand, from the perspective of the store, the cost that the store is bearing for fulfilling ship from store should be less than the holding cost per item. So again, here for the special cases, it's shipped from store. If the demand fulfiller gets the full credit, then the distribution center is going to order equal to the benchmark model, and store is going to order higher than the benchmark, always higher than the benchmark model, until the demand origin, means the distribution center, is getting the full credit. So, but other than these two special cases, the store always order higher than the benchmark model, and online channel or distribution center is always ordering smaller than the benchmark model, which can imply a free riding incentive for the distribution center. Now, if we compare the Nash equilibrium order quantities again in different market combinations, we see that with ship from store, distribution center order quantity is changing more dramatically than the brick and mortar stores order quantity. So again, if we consider the possibility of negotiation in ship from store fulfillment strategy, that we can find a unique Nash equilibrium credit rule. And also here, there is a parameter restriction where this Nash bargaining solution exists. And as you can see, under ship from store fulfillment strategy, the Nash bargaining solution does not exist in store dominant market, neither in online dominant market, but it mostly exists where there's equal combination of in-store and direct shipping customers. So as you can see here, we use a numerical analysis for comparing the expected profit of ship from store for the retailer. And as you can see, for online dominant market or store dominant market, we couldn't find a Nash bargaining solution. We only find it in the equal market share, which is always a dominant solution for the retailer. But if the retailer, this Nash bargaining solution does not exist, then retailer can use this analysis in order to get the insights. For example, if in online dominant market, when the Nash bargaining solution does not exist, it's much profitable for the retailer to allocate more share or more sales credit to where the demand origin. And finally, we consider the case when the retailer implement both of these fulfillment strategies, meaning both ship to store and ship from store. So in this case, distribution center is going to deliver the items to the store if store is stuck out, and if the distribution center is stuck out, the store is going to fulfill these direct shipping orders. But only one of these can happen because either the store is stuck out or the distribution center is stuck out. Now, the expected profit of the store now will include both the profit from fulfilling ship from store and the share that store is going to get from fulfilling ship to store for orders. And also the same for the distribution center. And under this fulfillment strategy, we find that these restrictions for the parameters. So what we notice here is that under the hybrid fulfillment strategy, store and online channel always order higher than the benchmark. But this was not the case when we have only one type of omnichannel fulfillment strategy. Now, when we compare the optimal order Nash equilibrium order quantities in different combination of market, again we see that distribution center, the order quantity of distribution center vary more dramatically than the stores Nash order quantity. So again, we follow the same steps and we find that under hybrid fulfillment strategy, we have much more restrictions. Under this fulfillment strategies, if we consider both fulfillment costs, we see that we don't have Nash bargaining solution for online dominant market and also for store dominant market, but mostly for a combination that includes equal fractions of store visiting and direct shipping customers. So let me go directly to the insights. Now here we compare the performance of different fulfillment strategies under different combination of market. Now here, as you can see, the fraction of store visiting customers play a critical role in determining the allocation of omnichannel sales profit and consequently whether a retailer will benefit from implementing the omnichannel strategies. Now in this study, we're not aiming to advise which fulfillment strategy a retailer should implement, but mostly if a firm decided to implement a certain kind of fulfillment strategy, STS or SFS or both of them, what is the best sales credit allocation policy to implement? So we see that under any fulfillment strategy, if the proportion of store visiting customers and direct shipping customers are almost equal, then it's always more profitable for the retailer to allocate equal sales credit to each channel. But here we summarize the insights that we can get. But if the market is online dominant and the retailer is going to implement ship from store, it's more profitable for the retailer to allocate more credit to the demand origin, meaning the online channel. But if in the same market, the retailer wants to implement ship to store, it's more profitable to allocate more credit to the demand fulfiller, meaning the store. And this is the same case for the hybrid fulfillment also. But in a market that store visiting customers are dominant in it, then if this retailer wants to implement ship to store or ship from store, then it's always profitable to allocate same profit share to each between channels. But in the same market, if the retailer wants to implement both of these fulfillment strategies, it's more profitable to allocate more inventory to the demand fulfiller. Now, I mentioned these sale credit allocation policies in the practice. Now we see that actually our analysis confirmed that for under which conditions sales credit should be allocated equally between channel, or maybe adjusting the store labor cost to compensate for order fulfilled. Now, when in the last slide we are considering this K between CF and P, actually in some way we are compensating the labor cost, and also the commission is paid to the sale associate on all online sales. We can see that for STS and SFS, when the store is dominant, when the market is store dominant, then it's better to always allocate allocate inventory or credit to the store associates. So finally, I have a couple of future research directions. So it's always interesting to add layers of complexity, such as capacity constraints or behavioral effects. In this study, we consider that each channel have the information about other channels' demand, but asymmetric information on demand would be also interesting. And also it's attractive to investigate the ship from store to store when you have a network of stores between channel. That would be also interesting. Also, empirical analysis are always a great way to confirm the analytical analysis. Thank you very much. I think